Hey there guys, Gaming Jamie 1 here, and today, in preparation for FH5 coming out on the 5th of November or the 9th of November, depending whether you have the premium or standard edition, I am going through a few cars from the next 2 or 3 years that I think should be brought into Horizon 5 for multiple reasons. I have tried to keep it to 2021 to 2023 cars, as that is presumably the year the next Horizon game is due to release, assuming they go back to a 2 year cycle. But I have put a couple of 2024 cars, as the devs could have another 3 year cycle with FH5, as they did with FH4, and that means that 6 comes out in 2024. But I have kept the 24 cars to a minimum, as there could be any changes between now and then that could mean the end of a vehicle's production. So without delaying this further, here are all the cars and reasons as to why I want these cars in the new Horizon title. Some of these explanations are a little bit shorter than others, but they are just as important. So, first off, the 2022 Alfa Romeo Tonale. This car is due to start production later this year to release in 2022, and is Alfa Romeo's first hybrid SUV baby brother of the Alfa Stelvio, uh, which is already an FH5. So it will be very interesting to see this car come to the game and possibly beat its big brother off the line in drag races, or even in off-road races with the new off-road suspensions and tyres, etc. Since the electric power will give the Tonale an edge over the Stelvio and possibly even the Giulia in a road race, and it would be very interesting to experiment with all of that. Next up, we have the 2021 Rolls-Royce Cullinan. SUV people have asked for ever since it was announced, so that it could be pitted against cars like the Bentley Bentayga, Lamborghini Urus, and even the Range Rover SVR, just to name a few. But as of yet, are still yet to see it implemented into FH4, so could they be holding it for FH5? I doubt it because of licensing debates and things like that, but if they are able to secure licensing, then I would personally love to see this SUV in a game. Also, the Dawn and Wraith from FH3 returning would be greatly appreciated, as well as the inclusion of the new Phantom and the new Ghost. Next up, we have the 2022 Ford Fusion Active. The American version of the Mondeo that has been beefed up a little bit for off-roading is coming out sometime in 2022 and looks incredible. And it will allow us to have some form of Mondeo in the game, and it would also work very well within the desert and grassy landscape of FH5's Mexico. Next up is the 2022 GMC Hummer EV. The GMC Hummer EV is General Motors' revival of the iconic Hummer brand in the modern age of electric vehicles, and it has the tough job of not only being and feeling like a Hummer, but trying to get usual Hummer owners to move into the future rather than continue to use their likely diesel/petrol powered Hummers. And it also has grab moving technology, so we will be able to see the newly implemented 4-wheel steering in all its glory with crab mode. Plus, it has up to 1,000 horsepower in a Hummer. 0 to 60 in 3 seconds, and that combined with new off-road tyres and setup pieces means a blisteringly quick and quiet off-road race car. Next, we have another 2022 car. But this time, the Honda Civic Type R. From the pictures of it on the internet, the next Honda Civic Type R looks like it matured a little and has toned down the crazy styling, but has seemed to retain a lot of its essence of a Civic Type R. A 2-litre, 4-cylinder engine, 6-speed manual gearbox, dual clutch transmission, and even talks of a hybrid 4-wheel drive variant. I personally would prefer the latter, but the former still sounds good. Speaking of good, we move on into 2023 with the Land Rover Defender 80. Essentially, the Defender 80 is the baby Defender 110 that we have got coming into FH5. Why they have called it the 80 rather than 90 could possibly be because it's going to be the first fully electric Defender with less horsepower than the 90. But if the 80 is successful, could see the electric technology implemented into the 90 and 110 going forward. This is speculation at the moment, but the pictures online of the squished down 110 looks incredibly cute and looks very EV to me. Next, we have the 2023 Nissan Z. The Nissan Z, also known as the 400Z, is going on sale in 2022 as a 23-year car, and they are carrying on the lineage from the 370Z with the FM platform with a twin turbo 3-litre V6 engine mounted to a 6-speed manual gearbox, making 400 horsepower. This can blow away the likes of the Supra, the BMW Z4, and other new sports cars in similar circles. We are rolling back time a little bit to only 2021 with the Toyota Yaris GR. The Toyota Yaris GR is a small 257 brake horsepower, 1.3 litre 3-cylinder 4-wheel drive rally-inspired monster. Need I say more? The car that has single-handedly made me fall in love with Toyota again. It's a small car that packs a punch, and it can punch me, and I will say thank you to it because it's pretty, it's affordable in the real world, and everyone seems to have wanted this car implemented into FH4 since Toyota was allowed back into the game. But since the new cars for FH4 stopped roughly 2 or 3 months ago, we have to look for it to be implemented into FH5 instead. Sticking with Toyota, we are going just a few months down the line to the Toyota GR86. Basically, the GR86 is the GT86 on some light steroids and packing a little more power than the GT86. But this is yet another GR car that I want to pit against all the other GR cars and have a GR86 against a GR Supra or GR Yaris, or have some friends take each car and blast them all around tracks and find out once and for all just what is the best GR car in FH5. Going into the future just a tiny bit for another Toyota, and this time it is the GR Corolla. the Toyota GR Corolla, basically the big brother to the Yaris I was just talking about, and it looks even prettier than the Yaris. And that's why I would like it in the game, to basically pit the two GR brothers in head-to-head battles to see who will come out victorious. And then put the two GR brothers against their even bigger brother, the Mark V Supra. We're going forward 2 years to 2024. This is the first of 2 or 3. And it's another Toyota. This time, it is the Toyota MR2. Toyota are looking to resurrect the mid-engine, rear-wheel drive two-seater sports car within the next few years, and it seems the new iteration will likely be coming out of the stable with a battery where an engine used to sit. This is after success with the GT86 and GR86 and the Mark V Supra, and wanting to resurrect another old name after resurrecting the Supra's namesake. And the concept pictures for the MR2 looks as gorgeous as the last car did. So I would be very excited for that to come into the game. We are looking into 2023 with yet another Toyota. This time it is the Toyota Sequoia. Basically, the 2023 Toyota Sequoia is the SUV version of the 2022 Toyota Tundra, and is likely to have the same 3.4 litre V6 hybrid as the Tundra, but I would personally like to see the TRD version of the Sequoia, as it will have off-road focused technology, and pair that with FH5's new off-road tyres, rally and off-road race. Then we are possibly looking at a Toyota capable of having an engine swap with a lot of horsepower and a lot of off-road grip, putting Lamborghini on a back foot. Next is the 2022 Cadillac CT5-V Blackwing. The CT5 has styling cues harking back to 1940s Cadillacs, but the CT5V Blackwing, officially announced in early 2021 for a 2022 release, boasts a mind-boggling 6.2 litre supercharged V8, mashing up 668 horses with either a 6-speed manual or 10-speed automatic, and a claimed top speed of 209 miles per hour. And this car is also significant as this is the last fully fuel powered V model the Cadillac will produce going forward. They are moving to either hybrid technology or full electric. Next, I have the 2022 Aston Martin Vanquish. Just look at it. That is all. Next, I have the 2022 Lamborghini Countach, a car made to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the Countach original, and with a limited run of only 112, the Countach is definitely an interesting car, making a V12 to an electric engine, making it one of, if not the coolest, hybrids of 2022. Now, the next set of cars I have on my list are fully electric, and I want more electric cars implemented, as that is the main direction the world is going with, more electric cars being unveiled every year and more companies promising to stop making fuel-powered cars and moving towards making EVs. And while it's great to have fuel-based cars in the car game, we have to start thinking forward and bring in electric companies that are deserving of exposure and allow people to experience the cars before they possibly buy any of them. Now, with that being said, the first car up is my second 2024 car, and that is the VW ID Buzz. The ID Buzz is essentially the deluxe 2 Samba bus, electrified and dehippified for the 2020s. And 60 years after the original version found fame for being hippie mobiles, this version can find new fame as anything it wants to be. But it's selling itself as a microbus, and I love the sound of that. So I want to drive it in the FH5 or possibly even the FH6, depending how long the devs have between the two games to develop FH6, as well as the production date for the ID Buzz. We have the 2022 Audi A6 e-tron. The A6 e-tron that is going to be sold alongside the petrol-powered A6 will have a dual electric motor sparking out around 469 combined horsepower, and that combined with the possibility of swapping the Rimac battery pack into this car has me foaming at the mouth so much that I want this car in the game ASAP. Next, we have 2-in-1, and that is because it is the Audi Q4 e-tron or the Sportback e-tron. The two variants of the Q4 coming out this year looks incredibly pretty and will most likely be pitted against the Jaguar I-Pace as the only other electric SUV in the game, as of now at least. But going forward, the devs should definitely focus on bringing more electric SUVs and cars and trucks into the game so we have more variety for racing with. Next, we have the 2021 BMW i4. The BMW i4 is the electrified version of the M4 and 4 series, with the updated grille expected to drop late 2021 and will boast a 335 horsepower motor in a rear-wheel drive variant, while an M version called the M50 will have an extra motor and will boast an impressive 540 horsepower with all-wheel drive. Personally, I don't know why they don't call it an M40 since it's a 4 series, but what do I know, eh? Up next, the BMW iX. The electrified iX is essentially an X5 with a 516 horsepower electric motor instead of a petrol one, and even though this car already has over 500 horsepower, there will be an even more powerful, sportier version called the M50. The M60, which is the M-badged version, so they are officially going to be making the M series of cars electrified by adding extra motors and extra power and hoping it doesn't rip the car into pieces under its own output. Now, I am putting yet another 2 cars together, but this time 2 different types of cars. And that is because it is the 2022 Bollinger B1 and 2. The Bollinger B1 and 2 are an SUV and pickup set of cars built by a new company from Michigan that is promising they both will come with 614 horsepower, 668 foot-pounds of torque, and a 4.5 second 0 to 60. The B1 SUV comes with 15 inches of clearance, while the B2 pickup comes with a 20-inch clearance. And can even carry 16-foot long pieces of timber thanks to front and rear tailgates, although they are both closed for the 16-foot pieces, but longer will require the tailgates to be open. Next, we stay in 2022 with the Cadillac Lyriq. The Cadillac Lyriq will have a single motor rear wheel drive or dual motor all wheel drive and is Cadillac's first full electric SUV. Very little is known about this SUV, but from the concept pictures of this car, I am already in love and would love to drive it across Mexico and drive it up to the top of the volcano and take a lot of amazing pictures with it. Up next, we come back in time a little bit to 2021 with the Canoo van. This van is definitely a weird looking one, but hear me out. This is claimed to have a 250-mile range from a 300 horsepower motor and can seat 7 people. While this may not sound impressive, the fact this van is actually being tested on a subscription-based system where you rent it as you need it is exactly why we should have it in the game. It gives us the chance to experience it if we are unable to experience it in real life, because the test is taking place exclusively in California and us in the UK are obviously not going to be able to experience it, and I doubt we will ever get it sold to us as it's such a small company. Now, sticking with Canoo, we go to the 2024 Canoo pickup truck. Basically, the van I just showed you, chopped in half, and a 6 or 8 foot pickup bed, sticky taped to the back of it. This car, while being a 2024 model, is actually taking orders now to start production in 2023 to deliver in 2023 as a 2024 model, and will reportedly have 614 horsepower. Next, we stay with Canoo again, but we roll back the time to 2022 with the MPDV. This is an all-electric delivery van. That's literally what MPDV means. Multi-purpose delivery vehicle. But this would be an amazing implementation, as the players could have a lot of fun playing delivery games, or even have a whole Horizon storyline, like the delivery storyline in FH4, where your character uses this van to deliver things, or even use Event Lab to make deliveries with it. Next, we have the 2020/2021 Citroen Ami. This tiny little car is a car that has a front end and rear end looking identical, and even has one door that opens normal and the other opens backward to cut down the cost of this car to make it as cheap as possible and to make it easy to fix, as young people are able to drive this in France from the age of just 14. This could become the new PLP 50, The only downside is that this has a small amount of horsepower and barely gets to 30 miles per hour, but with Forza, we could get an unrestricted version, or even be able to engine swap with an IDR or a Rimac or even the new Porsche Taycan, and or it could even be used as a car for beginners that they could be given to learn controls if they're fully new to the franchise and want to learn but not have to worry about being dumped in a 2000 horsepower Lotus Evija. We have the 2022 Fisker Ocean, an SUV with solar panels on the roof that charge the car while it's in the sun. This SUV is likely not going to be open to the public immediately, as there is deals between Fisker and several companies wanting to get these as fleet cars, but this car reportedly has a 300-mile range and will charge when the car has been turned off, and the production vehicle will be officially revealed at the 2021 LA Auto Show and will begin production in the fourth quarter of 2022. Next up, we have the 2022 Ford F-150 Lightning. The F-150 Lightning is essentially the F-150 Raptor with electricity running through its veins, and will come with a single motor rear-wheel drive or a dual motor all-wheel drive, and the dual motor will have an impressive 563 horsepower and get from 0 to 60 in 4.5-ish seconds. This is going to be a great rival for the Hummer EV if Playground puts both cars into FH5. Next, we have the 2021 Genesis G80. This looks like any other Genesis G80, but this is an all-wheel drive electric beast wearing a sensible outfit. Very little is known about the car at the moment, but more details will be coming very soon. Next, we have the 2020-2021 Honda E. A small city car that's electric and looks cute and fun to drive. What is not to like about that? I shall wait. We have the 2021 Hyundai Ioniq 5. A hatchback crossover with a single motor, rear-wheel drive, 225 horsepower, or a dual motor all-wheel drive 320 horsepower version, and made in tandem with Kia to bring this car to life. Next, we have the 2022 Jeep Wrangler Magneto EV. This is a high-tech off-road vehicle. It will have quad motors producing a measly combined 285 horsepower with a 6-speed manual gearbox, and will regenerate some power back when you press the clutch to prevent any rev hang, and feeds that normally lost power back into the batteries, so there is very little waste of power, if any. Now imagine this car with the Rimac engine in it. A Jeep with almost 2000 horsepower? Sign me up. That combined with the off-road customization parts will make this the ultimate off-road beast. We have the 2022 Lincoln SUV EV. There is nothing known about this car yet, but they have said that they are transitioning to all electric vehicles by 2030. And this SUV should be roughly the same size as the Aviator and will have both rear-wheel drive and all-wheel drive variants, and I'd love to test both out since Lincoln is not sold to the UK. Next, we have the 2021 Lucid Air. This car is being touted as the main contender of Tesla and we'll be fighting for the title of Best Four-Door Electric Saloon Car, with Tesla and Lucid is promising customers that they will receive a 480 horsepower car with 400 miles of range, and I'd love to be able to compare the Tesla Saloon to the Lucid Saloon and see once and for all who truly wins. Next is the 2022 Mercedes-Benz EQG. The electric G-Wagon, again, very little is known about the car, stats and details have not been released, but I'd love to be able to compare the EQG to the G65 or even the 6x6 G-Wagon. I also wouldn't mind the EQS being brought into the game, but I'm not too fussed, hence why I haven't included it in its own spot. Next is the 2021 Nissan Ariya. This SUV from Nissan is not the prettiest SUV in the world. It's a little bit angry looking from some of the pictures for promotion of the vehicle, but this SUV builds on what they had with the Leaf and brings just shy of 400 horsepower into the motor pack, and you end up with a potential rocket ship. Next, we have the 2021 Pininfarina Battista. The 1,873 horsepower EV coupe that uses bits and pieces from Rimac and the Concept 2, also now called the Nevera, I think it's called, that can accordingly do 186 miles per hour in under 12 seconds and a top speed of 217 miles per hour. I want this in the game simply to put it against the Rimac, the Avaya, and other EV hypercars and see which one comes out victorious. Next is the Porsche Macan EV. The recently announced all-electric Porsche Macan will have pretty much the same stats as the Porsche Taycan and will be co-developed with Audi, and this is a collaboration I can definitely get behind. Next is the 2021 Rivian R1T and R1S. These two are almost exactly the same, except the T is a truck and the S is an SUV. And the SUV can only pull about 7,800 pounds, while the truck can pull 11,000 pounds. And the top motor size can get the two cars from 0 to 60 in just 3 seconds. These two are officially coming for Tesla with Michael Myers masks on and have a lot of chainsaws on their hands, Edward Scissorhands style. Next is the 2022 Tesla Cybertruck. I know it's pointless putting a Cybertruck in when it's not going to be as good as the Rivian, but people know that sometimes things happen that force the faster of the two to fail at being faster. And as such, that is why I'm putting the Cybertruck on the list, because I want to put them head to head and battle it out and prove once and for all that Tesla is not the king they thought they were. I'm also adding the Model S and 3 and X and Y in this one, because we need more Tesla, and it's a bit disappointing when we can't drive the leading electric cars. Next up is the 2022 Tesla Roadster. Another Tesla I want in the game because it's incredibly fast. So fast they literally tell you to put your head on the headrest or you'll end up hitting your head on the headrest. with a claimed 0 to 60 of 1.9 seconds and a claimed top speed of 250 miles per hour with 2 or more motors and most likely all-wheel drive. This is one of the most sought-after roadsters in the Forza community for Horizon or Motorsport. As long as they get the roadster, they don't care what game you put it in. But a slight bit more would prefer it to be in an open world setting of Horizon. Next is the 2022 VW ID Space Vision. Essentially the new EV VW Golf estate, and this certainly will turn heads as it is a very pretty car, and I would love to see this car zooming its way across FH5's Mexico, both on and off-road. Next up is the 2022 Volvo C40 Recharge. This is effectively the XC40 with a little less power and a sportback tail, but the XC40 has fuel options, whether it's full fuel options or hybrid fuel options, while the C40 will be all electric, and that is all that is known about the car, unfortunately. Next is the 2022 Volvo XC90 EV. The Recharge concept was a view of what the next XC90 is roughly going to look like when it is released next year, but the car will be released late 2022 or early 2023, and very little else is known about the car beyond that, so I can't really say much. Up next is the 2021 Mustang Mach-E. And the Ultimate EV SUV award goes to the Mustang Mach-E. You can have it in rear-wheel drive, all-wheel drive, or even get extra motors for the GT spec variant that takes your 0 to 60 time to less than 4 seconds from an SUV, powered by electric. And now bouncing around the Mexican setting and then swapping it to rear-wheel drive and taking it drifting. Plus we have this. The amazing Hoonigan body kit and livery, and it's got an amped up battery lighting up 1,400 horsepower. I finally realised what James means about his fizzing. Anyway, I also have some concept cars that I think should come into the game, but are not likely to because they are one of very small quantity. First up, the BMW Vision M Next. This is a concept car based on the i8 and showing what the i8 could look like if they make a second generation of it. And it takes all the identity and identifying features of the i8 and takes it into the future. And I have never been one for the i8, but if they brought this version out, then I'd be first in line, even though I would never be able to afford it. Up next is the Rolls-Royce 103EX. This was unveiled as the celebration of the first 100 years of BMW in 2016 and is actually going to become a production car within the next few years called the Silent Shadow, updating the name Silver Shadow to show that it has gone fully electric, but no info beyond that at the moment. But I would like this version specifically to come into the game because it's a different design that showcases possibilities, and Mexico is a land of possibilities, and the two can show both off. Up next is the VW ID Buggy. This is essentially the Myers Manx by VW themselves. It's a cool looking car, and it is possibly going to be an electric off-roader that handles itself quite well both on and off-road. This is in Dirt 5 already, and I have not driven it quite as yet, but rest assured, even if I try it in that game, it will never be as good as it would be if it was in Forza. There is very little information about the production of the buggy, but I hope we get some in the coming months, since the Buzz is due out in 2022 and other ID cars are due by the end of 2023, with a new car being the ID Life being revealed to be released by 2025. Up next is the Honda Sports EV. This was unveiled in the last year or so, that they will be bringing an all-electric two-seater sports car to the market with the front end of a Honda E and the body of a Toyota 2000 GT. Like the Honda E, it looks cute, bubbly, and looks like it would be fun to drive, especially if you can get it to drift. Next is the Mercedes-Benz Vision Avatar. This is the craziest car I will ever talk about. It has a gorgeous sleek body, a spacious interior, and a Mercedes badge on it. But it literally has lights in its wheels and has fully glassed doors. But even though this is the case, I still want to drive it because very few people outside of Mercedes will get to drive this, and that's if they allow anyone to. Chances are this is just a concept car they roll out to show what they can do if they try, and if we get this in the game, we will all get to experience it. Next up is the Audi AI Trail. This is Audi's extreme off-road buggy vehicle. It is a strange car to behold, being that you need to be at least 10 feet to get into it, and the doors are made of glass, similar to that of the Avatar, but there also seems to be what looks like airless tyres. Now, Dare 5 does have this car in it, and yes, I have driven it in that game, and that is why it is in this list. It is amazing on Dare 5. Imagine what it could be like if it was given a good game to feature in, like Forza. They could have fun with the tyre deformation, or even just the shell of the body twisting the suspension on rocks. They could even start implementing soft body physics like BeamNG has, and really push the series consoles to the limit. Second to last car is the Mini Urbonaut. Yes, I am putting a concept that has barely left the rendering stage, but this is my list and I make the rules. I want this car on here because it's a mini camper van type vehicle that has the famous mini front, but has the body similar to an early 2000s Chrysler Town and Country, and I like the idea of that because I quite like that car because of GTA 5 having the minivan based heavily off it, and that minivan was amazing at almost everything. And finally, the Mini Superleggera. A concept car revealed way back in 2014, which was a collaboration between BMW and Carrozzeria Touring Superleggera SRL, which blended the British designs of Mini with the Italian coach building tradition, and the result? An electric roadster that looks beyond amazing and is beautifully designed and crafted with such detail and such love that I wish they made a full production fleet of them to show that they can make more than a hatchback in various sizes and chop the roof off one of the sizes. Now, that was my list of 50 or so cars that I would like to see in Forza Horizon 5. Leave down in the comments section any cars that you would like to see in it. You know, I may do a list where I compile some of your ideas that I like, or even do the top 50 or 20 or 10 most requested cars from my comment section. But for now, if you like this video, then please like, share, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. And I've been Gamer Jamie 111, and I shall see you in the next video. Bye.